Welcome back. Now for what's trending in true crime. Prominent survivor of Jeffrey Epstein's sex crimes, Virginia Giuffre, has died by suicide. This according to her family. Her death confirmed in a statement released by the family on Friday. Police finding the 41-year-old unresponsive at her home in Australia. She was later pronounced dead at the scene. Her family saying in part, quote, "Despite all the adversity she faced in her life, she shone so bright. She will be missed beyond measure." In 2019, Giuffre publicly alleged that Epstein forced her to have sex with his friends when she was as young as 17 years old. She claimed that included Prince Andrew, who she's seen here in this picture alongside with and Ghislaine Maxwell is looking on in the background too. The prince has always denied the allegations. Virginia Giuffre tweeted in 2019, and this tweet has resurfaced in the wake of her death. Take a look at this. She was saying that she was in no way suicidal. Now, police are saying that her death is not being treated as anything suspicious at this time. But we're asking this morning, are there any lingering questions about Giuffre's apparent suicide? Let's talk about it. I want to bring back in attorney Mario Gallucci and welcome in attorney Tommy Pope and criminologist Dr. Debbie Goodman. Good morning to you all. Dr. Debbie, to you first, please. What lingering questions do you have this morning?
Good morning. I think the case, Julie, is just a sad ending to a life of Miss Giuffre that was really complicated and complex. So we know and understand the sadness, of course, that she endured being a victim of sex trafficking, sexual abuse, and rape. And yet she exhibited such strength and courage and resilience throughout her young years in being a prominent voice of the Me Too movement and helping other victims navigate through the criminal justice system as she did from both the criminal and civil side. So when it comes to suicide, Julie, there's always a lot of questions, unfortunately, many of which go unanswered by family members and friends. And of course, the first question is why and what led to this. Based on what we know during her most recent years, it appears as if she was distraught about the separation from her husband and potentially custodial issues involving her children. And we do understand suicide. We hope that if any of the viewers are struggling, there are hotlines, a national hotline set up for those who need assistance, 988, and we would encourage certainly those to seek help who are in distress.
Dr. Debbie, yes, thank you for that. Tommy Pope, to you next, please. What questions do you have this morning?
You know, I agree with the doctor. It really goes to what's behind the scenes. You know, our pastor one time said, we all see each other's highlight reel. You know, we all see the best of folks, and you don't know, you know, certainly she had a traumatic life, but some people are resilient and can get through it, and some people get to a spot. From personal experience, I tell you, I used to think people that were depressed just needed to cheer up, and that doesn't work. It's just something internal, and you have to battle. And, you know, I battle with depression, but people, you know, always see the fun, Tommy, and don't realize that, you know, it's a battle. And so the things she's faced, I've led a blessed life and still wrestle with those issues. And so the things she's faced, it's easy to see how it can slip there. I hope forensically law enforcement did the things they need to that can kind of put a cap on any of this conspiracy talk. And, you know, because that's not healthy for the family if it's not accurate.
Right, so true. And Tommy, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. That really helps so much. You know, people see you and admire you so much. You're such a successful public figure and have done so much in your career. And thank you for sharing that. And I once heard a mental health professional describe depression as like the common cold in the mental health world. It's that common among people, and it needs to be talked about more so that everyone realizes we're all dealing with something. There's always a reason for us to take care of our mental health. I always say therapy is one of my favorite things in the world. That being said, Virginia Giuffre, the struggles that must have been going on privately, it's fair to say must have been pretty bad to get to this point. And we can see why. I mean, as young as 17, she was alleged to have been forced into this child sex trafficking ring by Epstein and Maxwell. Mario Gallucci, I'm curious this morning, what questions you have when we think about Virginia Giuffre, her life, and it seems with that Epstein case, like not everything has been answered. It's very unsatisfying when we think about how we don't have a lot of finality with it in the way of justice.
So, I mean, this poor woman had her innocence taken from her at a very young age, and she went on to become a warrior. I mean, she was basically the face of the Epstein Giselle trial, and then Epstein killed himself. So now she never really had any closure to that. Although Maxwell was eventually convicted, she went on to become a warrior, as I just said, and she had a beautiful life. She moved to Australia. She was married for over 2 decades, and she had 3 beautiful children, from what I understand. It looked like she was really doing well and overcoming everything. And then abruptly, months ago, she moves away from that life. She moves into a small town. She's arguing that she's having parental alienation issues with her husband. So it all catches up, and I just feel horrible for this woman, because she truly was a warrior. I mean, she was a warrior when you think about it, and for her life to end so tragically it saddens me. It really saddens me to see that happen. There were so many options that could have been taken, and there's so many people that were surrounding her that should have seen this coming. I believe a sister-in-law just spoke out, talking about how truly remarkable a person she was, but nobody gave her that lifeline. And there are lifelines out there, and it's unfortunate that it ended this way.
Right, you're so right. Beautifully said, Mario. Thank you for that. Now, on the heels of her death, our thoughts, of course, are going to other survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's disgusting criminal behavior. And we know that Virginia Giuffre kind of became the face of the survivors. She was the one who was unafraid to speak out and was taking what happened to her and turning, that tragedy into triumph. And during Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, there was one survivor who described the power of Epstein and many like him and what they have over their victims. Let's take a listen to how this was put.
My involvement with them lasted several years. I would try and get out of their view and try and get away from them, but every time I did, they found me. And it became so desperate that I started changing jobs. I changed apartments, cities, states, and even after all that, they found me.
Oh, my. Dr. Debbie, let me go to you here, please. The impact on other survivors. What do you think that is, please?
I would like to think, Julie, that in spite of this terrible, sad ending, that Ms. Giuffre will be admired, respected, appreciated among other victims, not only the 80 of whom, and those numbers could be much more than that, who were involved in the horrendous Epstein case, but just moving forward, victims who might experience this type of behavior and victimization will be able to, as you said so graciously, turn the tragedy into triumph and use the criminal justice system to their benefit and use their voice and your segments on the voice for victims, that it's going to be so important moving forward for that message to be upheld.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Dr. Debbie Goodman. And you also mentioned this earlier. We'll say it again for everyone at home. 988 is the number, the National Suicide Hotline. It's always open. Call if you or someone you love is struggling.